the mission is so important right now, especially at this moment in time. You know, you think about all the things that we're 100 years or so out from, but all the things that have happened, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. Doing this was great. I was happy to be invited to, you know, be a part of this permanent installation at the Frazier Museum.
It really came at the perfect moment, really, with the Unknown Project, because we were working on the Commonwealth exhibit, Divided We Fall, that goes from pre-settlement in Kentucky up through the early 1900s. So I just thought, boy, this seems to fit not just with the timeline, but also in the way in which we wanted to really tell the story of the Commonwealth here at the Frazier. We went to our curator, Amanda Briede, who had graduated from the University of Louisville, and immediately the light bulb went off in her head and said, Ché Rhodes, he was my mentor, he is a renowned glass artist, and I know there is something that we can do with him to bring the Unknown Project into the Commonwealth exhibit and make it a very reflective and a place where people can go and hear this particular story and have a space, an artistic space, to contemplate and really think about the story of the enslaved.
To be able to have just a little bit of a voice in this conversation to something that is so impactful and so huge that really we don't know anything about. The spoons and the cowbell are the two objects that we reproduced in glass for this exhibition. So when you think about, you know, the amount of labor, lifetimes and lifetimes and generations of labor that went into establishing all that we have now, and then, you know, you are proactively seeking to uncover the legacy of these people. And there's not much written because most of them weren't allowed to read and write. And then when you look for artifacts, well, they didn't really own many possessions, and many were taken from them.
When I started at the Frazier, the education team here said, have you seen this book or have you heard the story of Thornton and Lucy Blackburn? And I had not, and it was an enslaved couple who made this incredible journey from being enslaved, making their way through Detroit all the way up into Canada, finding freedom finally after this just crazy circumstances and how the story played out, and then came back to get freedom for others in their family. And I thought, I'm going to bring Hannah in and maybe we can make a connection on this Blackburn story in some way, and we sure did.
What we found is a spoon and a cowbell, and those are, you know, kind of personal objects at, I think, either end of the experience of a formerly enslaved person, right? So you have the spoon, which is, you know, nourishment, sustenance, and then you have the cowbell, which is kind of, you know, violence and oppression. Being invited to this through the Unknown Project, through the Frazier Museum, we had a lot of help from Locust Grove in particular, and Roots 101. For me, it's interesting just, again, being able to have a voice in this conversation. It's one of those things whenever you set up an exhibition, you always kind of have to see it finished before you really, you know, can decide whether or not it works or doesn't work. So we were pretty happy with this when it came together. I think the Frazier did a lot of work in sort of collaboration, you know, working together to kind of think about what this space would be like, but also in actually putting it together and executing it.